Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to a brand new video. Today's video is going to be about production. It's nothing going to be too complex. This was actually requested by someone. I'm just going to be going through a few mixing techniques and how I like to approach writing music. Music should be a very personal and independent thing in my opinion. I was trying for ages to find the right way to approach writing music and producing, trying to find everything by the book, and I've learned over the months that I think it's about developing your own style, so try not to worry too much about what the right way is to do things. At the end of the day, it is all opinion, it's all subjective, but I'm going to give you a few tips hopefully and just show you guys how I like to write stuff, and you can hear a new piece that I'm working on. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So here I have a track that I'm working on. This is something a bit different, as some sections are in 3/4, then it goes to 4/4 towards the end of the track. I'll show you what I mean. So here, the intro guitars, these I believe are in 3/4. Haven't opened up this project in a while actually, but I think I am not telling porkies. So yeah, 1 2 3 1 2 3, etc, etc. Then towards the second half of the song, it goes into 4/4, I believe somewhere around here. Yeah. So if you guys don't know already, I make a lot of ambient music. I would say that's my main genre when it comes to producing music. How I go about writing my songs is often I will first come up with a guitar riff, as I've been playing guitar longer than I have been producing for, so a lot of my tracks come from guitar. I'll figure out a riff, record that. I have a preamp, I have an Axel that will go straight into a Scarlett 2i2 interface, and I'll record that on my software. Obviously I'm using Ableton. And then I will start layering the rest of the layers on top of that, so then I might do drums, bass, etc. Sometimes I may take a different approach, but usually I start with the guitar first. A few mixing techniques. This is a kind of typical effects chain I'll have on a guitar track. I'll have some EQ. I've got 3 EQs here just because I was messing around with different EQs. EQ8, which comes standard with Ableton, is pretty good, but I have here, for example, FabFilter Pro Q, which I've recently got, which I want to learn how to use more, which I find is a bit more accurate than Ableton's EQ8, and you can layer EQs, so yeah, this is just something I've been fiddling around with here. Then I'll have delay and reverb for the ambience, nothing too over the top and dramatic. Dry wets here set about 15 because I want it fairly clean, and the reverb 25%, but just enough so you're getting that spaced out sound. So also, I should point out that I double track my guitars, so I'll record, usually when it's rhythm guitar, so that main riff, I will record them twice. I'll pan one left and I'll pan one right, just for stereo image purposes, to make things sound a bit wider. Then I layer one lead over the top. You can double track lead guitar, but I just don't think it's a necessity. If you're double tracking the rhythm is enough, and then adding the lead on top creates a good versatile sound, I think. And then for my lead guitar, I will choose a patch on my preamp again. Here it's fairly distorted, but I'm doing swells to create that kind of violin-y sustained effect, and again some EQ, some delay, some reverb, a utility to mess around with the volume without changing the volume on the actual audio file here. And yeah, you have that. If I solo this, the lead, so there, all that kind of swells with the volume knob on my guitar. And where you can see where it's peaking here on the EQ8. for example here, I've just got myself a kind of standard bow cut filter, and then just brought that down a bit. You can see if I raise that, you can hear the difference. Comes a bit harsher if you raise it up. You might not be able to hear it too much, distinguish the different sounds too much unless you're using good quality headphones or monitors. I'm using HS7s. So yeah, that's my guitar. That's typically how I record guitar. Bass, for this track I'm actually using Operator, I believe, which I was using Massive before. My friend showed me his bass sound and I like it. He's called Barbarics, by the way, so this is why I've named it Barbarics Bass. Go check him out, it's on SoundCloud, and he makes awesome DMB, and I've collabed with him on a couple of tracks as well. He makes really nice music. So I have an Operator bass set up, 3 layers, some EQ, cutting everything off. If I solo the bass, again, hopefully you can hear the sub bass if you're using good quality headphones or monitors. But so there's 3 layers of bass. You have the sub, a bass that is just hitting around 100 hertz, and the third one around 200. And then I cut everything off after then, because I notice if you don't, you get this kind of clipping sound when the bass note changes. You can hear that click. So I roll all the high end out and it sounds quite a fair bit smoother. You're not getting that harsh click anymore, just kind of more of a smooth change. So yeah, that's that. Here I've used a Stephen Fry quote towards the intro and towards the end. I like messing around with different samples, seeing how they sound. So I have this here.
Certainly the most destructive vice, if you like, that a person can have, more than pride, which is supposedly the number one of the cardinal sins, is self-pity.
And then it drops into the beat. For Stephen Fry's sample, I literally just make it a bit more atmospheric with some delay and reverb, just EQ it the way you want if I solo it.
Certainly the most destructive vice, if you like.
You can make it sound quite close if you want it more in the background.
More than pride.
For this track, I preferred it more pronounced, so I'm cutting it off around 10k anyway. Some nature sounds I have. Just for ambience, nature always goes down well, so I've just got a forest here with some auto pan for stereo image purposes again, some delay and reverb to make it more atmospheric. Delay and reverb, I'd say, is basically your number one tool to making ambient music. It's, yeah, you can never get enough reverb. Well, you can drown out sound in reverb, but so you don't want to overdo it, I'd say. But again, it's subjective, so maybe you do want to overdo it if you're being really experimental, who knows. But yeah, this is how I use it anyway. And then a vinyl effect. Where's that then? I've automated this, so obviously I've only wanted the sound coming in towards the intro. I don't know if you can make that out, but I have a vinyl effect going on, and then I've faded that out towards the drop because I probably thought it sounded too clustered and too muddy, not clear enough when the drop and all the other elements hit. Briefly through my drums, I have, if I solo these, so it's just a kick drum around there. Let's see where Foley's and claps come in. Alright, so I like using a lot of Foley's. For those of you who don't know what Foley's is, it's basically like natural sounds, so you can like record your cutlery in your kitchen, anything, and manipulate it the way you want. So I've used this to replace a typical clap or hi-hat or something. I've got like, what are these, and washing machine door, which I've obviously put a lot of delay and reverb on. If I turn the effects off, there you go, you can hear the difference. And then obviously I thought it sounded good with some EQ, delay and reverb, and you get that ambience and played all together. My CPU struggling a bit here on the top right, and I think it's because of the screen recording that I'm using. I'm using QuickTime Player. I need to find a better software to use. So sorry if you've been hearing any glitches or anything. I'm sampling a Holy Other track here, part of Nothing Here. I absolutely love Holy Other, so I get a lot of inspiration from his tracks. So Holy Other, if you ever watch this, man, big ups, because you're a huge inspiration. So that's from his track Nothing Here. I've just chopped that up. I've transposed it by 7 semitones, EQ'd it so you get that kind of low-end ambience. Just put more reverb for more ambience, and a compressor. I sidechain a lot of the stuff. Sidechain is when you get that dip, so I used to sidechain it to my kick drum directly, and now I use white noise and I mute that and I just sidechain it to that, because apparently it's more polished and clear when you use white noise. That's just a tip I learnt. So I put some white noise in here where my kick drum falls. I layer my kicks as well. You can layer kicks, make one with a bit more punch than the other. As you can see, kick 1 is more low end, kick 2 has a bit more punch in, kick 2 is quite drastically lower than kick 1 though, because you don't want it punching too loud. And yeah, that played, that's the sample played with everything together. I'll just play this through. I quite like my tracks to progress, so if I keep playing this, you'll hear another lead guitar come in that I've named lead 3, and then Stephen Fry's quote comes back in, speech. I got it from an interview.
I think self-pity is the worst possible emotion anyone can have, and the most destructive. It is, to slightly paraphrase what Wilde said about hatred, and I think actually hatred's a subset of self-pity, not the other way around. It destroys everything around it except itself. Self-pity will destroy relationships, it will destroy anything that's good, it will fulfill all the prophecies it makes and leave only it.
So you have that, it's building into something, adding in slowly but surely another guitar to give it that epic sound. I have some shakers as well. This is another technique that I learned actually from the same guy who taught me that, showed me operator and how to make a good bass with that. With stuff that's high end in your percussion even, so I'm using shakers here. You can do it with hi-hats to actually group them within a group, and at first that was quite complex, because to create a group you would usually say select those two, right click, group tracks here, but once you've already grouped you can't do it again, like there's no option to group it. So what you do is you select what you want. So with high-end stuff this works quite well. With shakers, I've double track, almost like double tracking my guitars it is. I do it with vocals as well sometimes. Pan 1 left, pan 1 right. Select them and change it where it says that would usually be set on, here. That would usually be set on master, I believe. Create another track called Shakers High or Topsoul. This is called Shakers High something, or you can name it Topsoul or high frequency stuff in your percussion, and then just put it through there, and then put another EQ on, and then I've automated that. I have a center stereo. This plugin I got on a discount. This is quite cool. This basically allows you to pronounce things more central, so your kick drum you want central, for example, so you could put that on a kick drum, turn that up to being more centered. And sides, stuff like my guitar that I've panned left and right, put it more to the side. So again, this just helps improve the stereo image, and then you've got options here. And yeah, so shakers now should sound a bit more full, being double tracks, putting through here. And I've got Saturn on it, which is a plug-in just with some warm tape and some drive. So it creates this effect. Solo. And I've got the automation on the EQ, so starting to bring them out more and in context. And you have that. Also, I like to write music, mix. This is still the mixing stage. Sometimes with a master on, so I've just saved myself a master preset here. I might do another video on mastering another time, because mastering can be very complex, and obviously you want to master depending on what track you've got, depending on how you mixed it. But I have some mid-side EQ here. Then I've got, I'm using Ozone 6 with some dynamic EQ, then an imager. I've set that how I want it. Again, depending on the track, that will be different. Saturn, a glue compressor to make things stick a bit. And then 3 limiters, a Pro limiter from FabFilter, and then 2 Ableton stock limiters, one with a ceiling of 0 dB, one with minus 0.30. And yeah, the reason why I sometimes like to mix with a master on is because it will give me an idea of how it will sound when it's mastered, because a lot of the time I would mix something without a master on it, I'd go to master on it, and then the master would change it completely, and then I'd be like, oh well, I need to go back into the mix now to do this. So there's a lot of things that I like to do when mastering now. Like almost all the time I'd use a mid-side EQ in this, so I know kind of what I'm going to use when I come to master my tracks, so I can use a basis, and then I'll take the master off, export it as a WAV audio file, go into my export settings, export audio video, it will be master, I'll have it as 24-bit and no dither to master, and then when I come to master it, I'll switch that to triangular. It doesn't really matter, you can have it on no dither as well, and then just export it as that. But I'll take the master off obviously when I export it, and then drag that audio file into a separate project to master. But I just like working with a rough master on to see how it will sound, and it will generally give me a better idea, and then I can take that off, mute it, whatever, and just have a raw mix. A master really just boosts everything at the end and makes everything a bit more polished. I feel that your main work should be done in mixing anyway. So yeah, guys, I'm going to cut it off there. Not sure how long I've been speaking for now, but I've noticed I haven't got much recording time left. I hope this has helped you guys in any way. This is just kind of a typical way how I go about producing music, and a few of my techniques that I've used and a few techniques that other people have shown me. Don't be afraid to ask. If you have any questions, ask down below. I don't know how many of you are musicians, but this was a requested video, so yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Maybe I'll do more in the future. I need to find a better software though to record my screen because of that glitching. This is absolutely fucking with my CPU. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed, hope you found it useful. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon, guys. Peace.